Movement in Call of Duty plays a major role. It determines the gunfights, the pacing of every single match, and the skill gap between each player. And finally, it determines how fun the game will be for us gamers. I ask you guys this question. Is the Omni movement the best movement we've ever had in a Call of Duty game? To answer this question, we will truly have to look at the evolution of movement in the Call of Duty franchise. And at the end of this video, we will determine if it really is the greatest movement in COD history. The Call of Duty movement was pretty basic back then. At first there was no sprinting, just walking. Then it evolved to sprinting, crouching, jumping, and going prone. But make no mistake, basic is not a bad thing. Then eventually, we got the classic dolphin diving movement, which was introduced in Black Ops 1, and it's pretty safe to say we all love that. Just after that, sliding was introduced in Call of Duty Ghost, then a major change came to the franchise when Call of Duty Advanced Warfare introduced jetpacks. Some people liked it, while others didn't. That continued on for a few years. Then in Modern Warfare 2019, we were introduced with Tactical Sprint, which allowed your operator to have its gun up when sprinting, which increased his speed, but also you were able to slide cancel as well. So now we are introduced with this new movement in Black Ops 6 called the Omni movement. Well, what is the Omni movement? The Omni movement allows you, the player, to sprint, slide, and dive in any direction, which would be forward, sidestepping, and backpedaling. This now allows you, the player, to have full control over your player's movement. It's crazy to think that we've never really had full control over our operator up until this point. That's what we should all want to have, full control over our operator. The Omni movement also allows you to chain the combat mechanics together, which theoretically would create a skill gap between us players, and it also adds more creativity within each player in how we move around the map and the different routes we take. Now that we know the evolution of the Call of Duty movement and what the Omni movement is, I will give you 3 reasons why I believe this is truly the best movement we've had in Call of Duty history. The first reason is this game feels buttery smooth, and it also allows you, the player, to showcase your movement skills. As soon as you start to play the game, you can instantly tell how fluid the movement is. You don't feel as if you're restricted ever. There's nothing worse than playing an FPS game and having that slow, muddy, clunky feeling. The Omni movement plays into realism and also creates a skill gap between players. You, the player, gets rewarded for mastering your movement around the map. You can be such a pain to the enemy team with a master of this movement. The second reason is it enables you, the player, to make so much more fun and interesting plays. It's not your same old boring sprinting and shooting. Although there is nothing wrong with that, it definitely gets to a point where it feels repetitive year after year. You can chain your movement together in many different ways, in many different situations. It creates this new way of thinking, which in my opinion will help the longevity of the game and also allows you, the player, to think in a way you've never thought before when playing a Call of Duty game. For example, if you're weak from a gunfight, you can use your movement in many different ways to evade from battle. Now the third and final reasoning is innovation. I believe us as Call of Duty fans should be excited and pleased that we're not getting the same old movement. If you really think about it, it would be very upsetting and very outdated if we were using the same movement as 10 years ago. Treyarch has perfected the Omni movement to where the movement isn't far off like jetpacks. It still fits the traditional Call of Duty playstyle, but just adds more creative ways to move around the map without it being too hectic. I give full credit and applaud the guys at Treyarch for wanting to be innovative in creating a new way for us to move around the map in a fun way without there being cheesy animations and with the game still having its traditional movement feel. This allows the game to transcend and to stand out from the rest. In conclusion, we all have our different viewpoints when it comes to what we think is good movement and bad movement. But in general, for the average Call of Duty player, the Omni movement offers you the smoothest movement ever in a Call of Duty game. It gives you full control of your player and the way you want to move around the map. The most impressive part about the Omni movement is how easy it is to learn. But most importantly, it allows the game to be more fun. Let me know in the comments below which Call of Duty do you guys believe has the best movement and why. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more Call of Duty content. Have a great day, gamers.